Diving has long been practiced in the DPRK, but only recently have DPRK divers been consistent threats to win gold medals on the world stage. How did this change come about, and how did diving in the DPRK develop? My name is Yong, and this is DPRK Athletics.
Part 1. Genesis.
Diving as a modern sport actually began before liberation, when the Japanese Empire occupied the Korean peninsula. It all started on the 2nd of August, 1929, in the eastern port city of Wonsan. The Korean Athletics Association and the Dong-a Ilbo newspaper hosted an aquatics training session, which included diving as a discipline. However, diving would not see much development in the northern part of Korea on the whole. Pre-liberation Korea's only known diving club, diving tournament, and diving board were all in Gyeongsong, or present-day Seoul. At that time, diving was exclusively for men, and access was limited to the select few who had access to a pool or elite schooling. After liberation, modern athletics were rolled out in northern Korea on a large scale. Swimming disciplines were practiced regularly beginning in 1947, and the first national swimming competition was held in 1949. Diving's situation was a little bit different than that of swimming. Although diving was officially promoted by the government, diving was not officially included in competition. The Korean War and subsequent recovery efforts would put a delay on the resumption of aquatics, but swimming would resume as a discipline at national competitions in 1957. Diving would follow, with the first official diving competition in the DPRK held in Pyongyang on 20th June 1959. Although records of the time are scarce, it can be confirmed that women were participating in diving as early as 1964. From the 1960s through the 1970s, DPRK diving was still in its developing stages. By 1963, the first permanent diving platform would be installed in the northwestern port city of Sinuiju. Diving got a big political boost from DPRK leader Kim Il-sung, who emphasized it as a discipline to be developed in 1967. International exchange of diving teams would begin in 1974, as the Pyongyang City diving team went to the Soviet Union. Diving began to pick up steam in the 1980s with the construction of more facilities. In 1980, the country's first indoor swimming pool and diving platform was constructed in Pyongyang. The Changwang Health Complex, as it was known, would host the DPRK's first international diving event in 1981. Although only 7 other countries participated, DPRK athletes struggled in this event, achieving only 1 bronze in the men's platform category. In 1987, the DPRK built a second indoor swimming pool and diving platform. The indoor swimming complex, as it was known, would go on to host the aquatics events at the 1989 World Festival of Youth and Students. 1987 saw the DPRK win its first medal in international diving competition abroad, as the DPRK bagged 4 medals at a competition amongst 12 countries in Warsaw, Poland. But this was only the beginning of DPRK diving internationally.
Part 2. Combating Giants.
In the 1990s, DPRK divers began to make their mark on international diving competitions. At the 1990 Asian Games, the DPRK would face off against diving powerhouses China and Japan for the first time. The result was 2 silvers and a bronze, including an individual silver in the women's 10-meter platform event by Kim Chun-ok. The next year, at the 1991 Summer Universiade, Kim Hae-ok won the gold at the women's platform, and Liu Eun-sil won the bronze. Liu Eun-sil would repeat her feat the next year at the 1992 Asian Swimming Championships, grabbing another bronze. Meanwhile, Kim Chun-ok would return for a silver medal. This led up to the DPRK's first diving entry into the Summer Olympics in 1992. However, Kim Chun-ok, Liu Eun-sil, and Kim Hae-ok all failed to crack the top 15. It was back to the drawing board in 1993 as the DPRK participated in the 1993 Spring Swallow Tournament in Moscow, Russia. In her final international competition, Kim Chun-ok won the 10-meter platform category, but it would signal the end for the first generation of DPRK elite divers. A new generation would arise at the same event, as Lee Ok Lim would win bronze in the 10-meter platform women's category. Lee would continue her success into the summer, winning bronze at the springboard competition at the East Asian Games. A men's diver, Choi Hyung-gil, achieved the same fate in his division. In 1995, another new diver, Shin Jong-lim, won gold at the women's 1-meter springboard competition at the World Military Games. The DPRK's next crack at the World Elite came in 1996 at the Atlanta Summer Olympics. Remarkably, Choi Myung-hwa, despite no previous major international accolades, achieved 13th in the women's 10-meter platform. In the men's 10-meter platform, Choi Hyung-gil achieved 15th. These were both record-high Olympic finishes for the DPRK. From 1996 to 2000, the trio of Choi Myung-hwa, Choi Hyung-gil, and Lee Ok-lim would continue to perform as the DPRK's top divers and see incremental improvement in their results. Choi Myung-hwa would achieve a bronze in the women's 10-meter platform at the 1998 Asian Games and improved up to 10th place in the same event in the 2000 Olympics. Choi Hyung-gil would achieve 7th at the 1998 Asian Games and 12th at the 2000 Olympics. Lastly, Lee Ok-lim would achieve 4th in the women's 3-meter springboard and 10-meter platform at the Asian Games, but finished worse than 20th in both events at the 2000 Olympics.
Part 3. Stagnation.
From 2001, the DPRK began to introduce a third generation of international divers and experimented with entering athletes for newly emerging categories. For example, newcomer Park Yong and veteran Choi Hyung-gil got silver in the newly introduced synchronized men's platform event at the 2001 Summer Universiade. Meanwhile, in her last international appearance, Lee Ok-lim achieved bronze in the 10-meter platform and the DPRK achieved the women's team bronze. The next year, at the 2002 Asian Games, an entirely new crop of DPRK divers won the silver in the men's and women's synchronized 10-meter platform. But their success could not be carried into the 2004 Olympics. The DPRK would only participate in the classical 10-meter platform, and none of their athletes would place higher than 15th. Most notably, Choi Yong-gil, who had been active for 11 years in international diving, would make the final appearance of his career. The events leading up to the 2008 Olympics saw a few bright spots, but the team's results were largely stagnant. At the 2005 Summer Universiade, Hong In-sun and Choi Geum-hee got silver in the women's synchronized platform. At the 2005 East Asian Games, the same duo won the women's synchronized platform, and Hong achieved bronze in the individual 10-meter platform. Meanwhile, Kim Chon-man and Lee Jong-nam won silver in the men's synchronized platform. At the 2006 Asian Games, the men's duo won silver again, and the women grabbed bronze in the same category. Individually, Kim Chon-man and Hong In-sun would win bronze in the 10-meter platform. The same women's duo got silver at the 2007 Summer Universiade, while a new men's duo of Park Yong-yong and Kim Chol-jin got silver in the same category. Perhaps the crowning achievement of this era was the 2008 Olympics, when familiar face Choi Geum-hee and her new partner Kim Eun-hyang achieved 6th in the women's synchronized platform. This was the highest Olympic diving finish for the DPRK to that date. From 2008 to 2012, the DPRK began to participate in more diverse international diving events as they emerged. But aside from a few medals at smaller competitions and a consistent women's synchronized platform team, the strength of the DPRK stayed at the same level. Newcomer Shin Ji-hyang won silver at the girls' platform at the 2009 Asian Youth Games. Another newcomer, Kim Jin-ok, was the best DPRK diver at the 2009 World Aquatics Championships, finishing 15th. Choi Geum-hee and Kim Eun-hyang would continue their strong run as a synchronized platform pair, finishing 2nd at the East Asian Games. At the end of 2009, veteran divers Kim Chon-man and Choi Geum-hee would be named 2 of the DPRK's best athletes for that year. At the 2011 World Aquatics Championships, Choi Geum-hee and Kim Jin-ok would place highest, finishing 10th in the women's synchronized platform. The result in the 2012 Olympics was similar as before, as Kim Eun-hyang and Kim Jin-ok finished 13th and 14th in the individual 10-meter platform respectively. But DPRK diving was just getting started.
Part 4. New heights.
Back in the DPRK, change was brewing. In 2009, construction was completed on an indoor pool with a diving platform at Kim Il-sung University. This allowed athletes at the nation's most elite university to train on campus with brand new equipment. Indeed, two of the DPRK's best diving stars to come, Kim Eun-hyang and Kim Mi-rae, would train with the Yong Namsan team at Kim Il-sung University. Meanwhile, Kim Jong-un would come to power in late 2011 upon the death of his father. Kim Jong-un set to make athletics development a priority, initiating the Hot Blast of Athletics campaign. This meant more government funding was set to training athletes and sending them to international competition. One of the new events the DPRK competed in was the FINA Grand Prix. In 2013, Kim Jin-ok and Choi Eun-kyung performed strongly in the synchronized platform dives against Russian competitors. Later, in the 2014 Diving World Series, Choi Kyung-eun and Song Nam-hyung won bronze in the women's 10-meter synchronized platform. The Asian Youth Games also presented a new training ground for DPRK divers. Song Nam-hyung won the DPRK's first diving gold at the 2013 Asian Youth Games, doing it in the girls' platform category. Lee Hyun-ju was strong for the boys, placing in bronze for the platform. The East Asian Games continued to provide valuable experience, with Kim Jin-ok and Kim Eun-hyang grabbing a silver in the women's synchronized 10-meter platform. Kim Jin-ok also combined with Kim Jin-hyang for a bronze in the 2-meter synchronized springboard. This hard training began to bear fruit at more prestigious competitions. The DPRK had a strong overall performance at the 2013 World Aquatics Championships. DPRK divers finished in the top 15 of 4 separate events, with both their men's and women's synchronized platform teams placing 9th. At the 2014 Asian Games, Kim Eun-hyang and Song Nam-hyung won silver in the women's synchronized 10-meter platform, and Choi Eun-kyung and Kim Jin-ok won bronze in the synchronized 3-meter springboard, and Kim Eun-hyang won bronze in the 10-meter platform. It would be the DPRK's best Asian Games showing in terms of medal count since 2002. But all of this was just setting the table for what was to come. Every so often, a prodigious talent emerges, taking a team to unforeseen heights and raising the bar for all who come after them. For DPRK divers, this woman was Kim Guk-hyang. At the end of the preliminary rounds, Kim Guk-hyang placed 7th, which would have already been the best finish for an individual DPRK diver at an international event. But she improved to 3rd in the semifinal, placing only behind 2 divers from World Powerhouse China. And in the final round, Kim Guk-hyang did the unthinkable, rocketing to a first-place finish and taking home the DPRK's first diving gold in a worldwide event. But the DPRK wasn't done there. In the women's synchronized 10-meter platform, 7-year international veteran Kim Eun-hyang and her partner Song Nam-hyung broke through onto the podium for a 3rd-place finish. Kim Guk-hyang would also team up with men's diver Hyun Il-myung for a strong 4th-place finish in the newly created mixed synchronized 10-meter platform discipline. Outside of those 3 prodigious performances, Song Nam-hyung placed 10th in the women's 10-meter platform, and Hyun Il-myung and Kim Sun-bom came in 11th in the men's synchronized 10-meter platform. It simply cannot be understated how much of a watershed moment the 2015 World Aquatics Championships were for DPRK diving. Their 3 best performances would all have been historical bests for the DPRK in any diving discipline at a worldwide event, and even their 4th and 5th best finishes would have been at or near the top of their finishes for previous World Aquatics competitions. From this point forward, the DPRK were no longer diving giants in just Asia, but indeed world-level contenders. Upon returning home, Kim Guk-hyang would get a hero's welcome, as she was treated to a press conference and a banquet with the DPRK's cabinet. Most importantly, Kim Guk-hyang and Shin Jong-nim, Kim's coach and a former diving athlete herself, would be awarded the title of People's Sportsperson. This is the highest honor that a DPRK athlete or coach can achieve. Song Nam-hyung, Kim's partner for the bronze medal performance, would be awarded the title of Merited Sportsperson. This is the second highest honor that a DPRK athlete or coach can achieve. Fueled by their fresh success, the DPRK began to invest state capital into training their young diving athletes. In 2016, the Ministry of Athletics began to make new training support programs, and World Aquatics organized a coach's lesson in Pyongyang. An Olympic podium finish continued to elude the DPRK though. Nevertheless, the fourth place finish of Kim Gu-kyung and Kim Mi-rae in the synchronized 10-meter platform and Kim Eun-hyang's 7th place in the individual 10-meter platform were both the best Olympic finishes for the DPRK up to that point. The 2017 World Aquatics Championships were not quite as impressive for DPRK diving as 2015, but they successfully held up their new reputation as a podium contender. Kim Gu-kyung and Kim Mi-rae would achieve silver in the women's synchronized platform diving event for the DPRK's best ever finish in that category. Meanwhile, Kim Mi-rae and Hyun Il-myung would repeat the DPRK's 2015 feat, achieving bronze in mixed synchronized platform diving. For this achievement, they would both be awarded the Merited Sportsperson Award. But Kim Mi-rae and Kim Gu-kyung could not replicate the 2015 gold in women's platform diving, ending up in 4th and 6th respectively. Lastly, DPRK divers achieved top 11 finishes in 3 other categories, reinforcing the team's newfound prominence. Meanwhile, the 2017 Universiade, while being slightly less prestigious as an event overall, was the most dominant diving performance for DPRK athletes at any event up to that point. The DPRK nabbed the most golds of any nation with 5, and achieved 3 silvers as well. Naturally, Kim Gu-kyung was instrumental in this effort, contributing to 4 of the country's golds. Of course, China's absence from this Universiade played a role in the DPRK's dominance, but that is only a small diminishment of their achievement. The last hurrah for this golden generation of DPRK divers came at the 2018 Asian Games, where they totaled 1 silver and 3 bronze medals. They also participated in the FINA Diving World Series from 2017 to 2019. 2018 and 2019 were the DPRK's most active years in the FINA World Series, as they participated in all meets of the circuit. 2019 even saw the DPRK participate in the AASF Asian Cup, where they would win a respectable gold, 2 silver, and 2 bronze. But at this point, diving's development would come to a screeching halt. The DPRK did not attend the 2019 World Aquatics Championships, nor did they attend the 2019 Universiade. Then, due to the global situation in 2020, the DPRK would not send any athletes abroad for roughly 3 years.
Part 5. Rebirth.
DPRK divers would return at the 2024 World Aquatics Championships, and they had not missed a beat. Veteran Kim Mi-rae would help newcomer Jo Jin-mi to a silver in the synchronized 10-meter women's platform. Meanwhile, Jo Jin-mi and Im Yong-myung would grab a silver in the 10-meter mixed platform. Kim Mi-rae would barely miss out on a podium finish in the individual women's 10-meter platform herself. Another watershed moment came in that year's Summer Olympics, as Kim Mi-rae and Jo Jin-mi achieved silver in the women's synchronized platform, and Kim Mi-rae nabbed a bronze in the women's individual platform. These would be the DPRK's first ever medals in Olympic diving, proving that the national program continues to improve. As the DPRK heads to the 2025 World Aquatics Championships, they will be looking to achieve their first gold in worldwide competition in 10 years. Jo Jin-mi will be returning, along with many new fresh faces. Will they continue to be global podium contenders? Can they push it to the next level? The only way to find out is to subscribe to the DPRK Athletics channel. We will be providing on-site coverage of the 2025 World Aquatics Championships with daily YouTube updates. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky for more rapid updates. If you would like to find out more about my work or access a full script of the video with sources, make sure to check out my website at dprkathletics.com. And if you would like to join our brand new community dedicated to discussing DPRK athletics, feel free to join our Discord. You can find the links to everything in the description. That is all. Stay well.